Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Cheers back.
We're going to get started in soon. Good morning. So what's being expressed and suggested here is that this is a play of separation. The nameless, the zero, the wordless, the one without a source, infinity expressing as both this or that. The victim and the victimizer, the seeker and the speaker, left or right, the oppressor and the oppressed, the me or the no me. It's a play of separation. In the play of separation, there's this question, how do I get this? How will I fall away? How do I lose this me? When will I get this? When will this happen? What do I need to do? What practices can I do? Although it's being expressed that there's no one here, those questions seems to arise over and over again in many different forms. So what's being suggested here is that when the how, the when, the what, the why ends. But no one can choose to end it or not. So when those questions become answers, because answers and questions are the same, there's this seeing that there's just this play of separateness. So there's this felt sense of realness that I have these questions that need to be answered. There's this play of separateness of how a subject and object is just really static. It's just really this vibration, this oscillation in stillness. Like I don't know if how old you guys are, but it's kind of like a TV show when you're training a channel. There's this static, or a radio. There's this static. But in the space between the static and the clarity, there's nothing. What seems to be holding all of this together is nothing. The space between us, or separateness, the apparent body, is just space formed or looking like a body. 99.99% emptiness, right? So the invisible and the visible is not separate. It's just distortion. There's this apparent distortion that there is a me and there is a you, that there is this reality, distortions, vibrations, seemingly appearing in separateness. Togetherness appearing in separateness. So the question how, when, well, when, what, or whatever questions that arises is just vibrations of what's already obvious. That everything is appearing as emptiness or stillness. The people that think they are people, the character that believes in the character, is the distortion, is the vibration. But it's all really just emptiness. Emptiness is just shaped like form. But if you take the word emptiness and the word form, there's really nothing. It's not even nothing. It's just incomprehensible. It can't be comprehended because there is this idea that there is a you and me, and there's this belief. um, so there's a lot of kind of like, statements, a lot of kind of like, apparent revelations. Someone will say you are it, and at the same token they'll say you don't exist. And then the you keeps on looking for the it, and then sometimes it's looking for its non-existence. Or someone will say that there's nothing to understand, and it tries to understand that. It tries to get that. There's no enlightenment, but how do I get there? There's no you. How do I become a no you? Or someone will say this is it, and also at the same token will say everything is an illusion. Which one is it? Distortions, vibrations, static, appearing. I used to, this is a story. I used to kind of like, well, where is it? I can't seem to get to where it's it. I can't seem to understand the no understanding part. So how do I understand that? How do I get that? How do I perceive that there's no reality? How do I get there? How do I see the illusion? Again, I'm going to repeat. When the how, the when, and the what, and the why stops, everything collapses. Because the one that's asking the why, the when, the what, is the distortion. But it's also emptiness. But it's also an illusion. See how it's confusing here? So everything is being thrown here. It seems completely contradictory. But the contradictions are just really distortions, vibrations of what's already really clear. The clarity that's being expressed here can be suggested. It cannot be shown. It's kind of like there's two sides of the coin, but only one side can be expressed because there is an apparent two sides. There's an apparent duality. It can't show both at the same time because there's no both at the same time. There are no two sides. There are no others. There's no one here experiencing this. There's no one there experiencing this. There's this vibration, this distortion, this apparent confusion. But the confusion is also clarity. It's all zero. It's all nothing and not even nothing. It's really silly. It's really, really silly because sometimes, there's it just keeps on going back and forth, going in circles. Well, how do I get there? When will I get this? Or it goes into this, affirmations. I am not here. I am not here. There's no one here. There's no one here. As I said in a previous talk, the illusion can only produce illusion. It only operates in illusion. It only functions in illusion. The bullshitter can only think of bullshit. It's just this bullshit that this is completely happening. There's a felt sense of realness, but there's also a resonance of stillness. Again, in this play of separation, there is a you and me, an us and them, an awakened or not awakened. There's a less than, there's a more than. There is a better and there's worse. So all of those labeling, all of that distraction, this distortion, this apparent seeming contradictions are the same. They appear on the same page of nothing. that's just a story, they appear in the same movie called Nothing. So whatever appears on the movie screen, it could be murder, it could be drama, it could be comedy. It's just a distortion of what's being sought for, which is the stillness of the screen. But since the drama can't get out of the drama, the comedy can't get out of the comedy, the tragedy can't get out of the tragedy, because it operates in stories. It operates in distortion. It operates in vibration. Again, this vibration, this distortion, this static, this chaos appearing in stillness, this anarchy, these explosions appearing in peacefulness. But they're not appearing separately, they're appearing simultaneously. Again, I'm going to repeat. So this is all space, right? This is all space. There's nothing happening here. But there's this body, which is also space. All of this is emptiness, but emptiness in a form of solidity. So confusing because it cannot really be described. So everything that you see, including the blank space around you and the apparent couch or the apparent screen or the apparent air, is actually wholeness. There's no separateness in any of it. There's just this idea, this distorted idea, this confusion that it's not clear. There's this lens of separation. There's this feeling of separation that feels completely real. That absolutely, if somebody pushed me, maybe I'll push back. I'll say, why? It's a reaction. So all reactions, all ideas, all thoughts, all feelings are distortions of the stillness that seem to be looked for or belong for. But what it doesn't see is that stillness is just taking a form of confusion, of separation. So stillness and separation are not really separate. Stillness is a form of separation, or takes a form as separation, sorry. It's an illusion. It's a dream. It's like a dream. So when the how, when the when, when the why is seen as distortions of what's already happening, this, I'll repeat this, whatever seems to appear is not distorted anymore. It's not a distortion anymore. Because the distortion, the idea that there is something blocking the view of stillness, is the distortion. That there's something that is obscuring the clarity that is longed for, is the distortion. So all of these ideas, all of these thoughts, all of these feelings that something is missing is the distortion. Because that distortion, although it's you can see it as a distortion, actually is just the emptiness, the stillness, taking a different form as whatever. So everything that is seen, everything that is heard, is actually stillness. Stillness shaping form as a sound, or silence shaping form as a sound. Everything that is seen, the separateness, the solidity, the obstacles, the confusion, the wondering, the why, the how, is actually just stillness, seeking how to achieve stillness when it's already stillness, when to achieve stillness when it's already stillness. But since there are words that are the obstacles of this, when the words start falling away, when the words loses its meaning, when the words and the belief in the words start seeing, then distortions suddenly started getting clear. And then all of a sudden, Kind of like when a radio dial, you're turning the dial, trying to find a channel. There's all of this stuff. And then there's a hearing of the sound of silence. This is the sound of silence. Silence and sound are the same. The distortion is the separate idea that this is not silence, that this is not it. This is it. There's no it. All right, let's open the questions. If you would like to ask a question, please go ahead. Oh, there's a question here. Yes. Okay. Hi, Emerson. You all the time smile and I'm all time sad and think about death. So I can't change this. No, there's no one. Yes. So you can say this. I got this role in this story. It's so heavy for a person. Yes, yeah. Again, the play of separation, that there is someone that's blissful all the time here. And there's this separation that sometimes it's unseen, that this character just a few days ago was crying heavily over the death of someone. But there's no one crying. It's just crying happening. There's just this, again, it's just different forms of emptiness, different shapes of emptiness, but it's all the same. There's no one here, there's no one there. There seems to be sadness there seems to be joyfulness here, but these are all forms, different shapes of emptiness, appearingly, distortedly appearing as different, but it's all the same. All the same. Hey, Zoe.
Hey, Emerson.
Hey.
I'm out walking, but I wanted to share a story.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
I like stories.
Yeah, exactly. So yesterday, apparently a group of friends and I met, like we had met through another teacher, and we've had this ongoing weekly meeting, just discussing stuff. And so somebody played this other teacher, and it was amazing. It's like nothing has changed, but everything has changed. And so the other teachers who speak to a person,
Yeah.
there's just like, wow, I can hear it now, whereas before
wow.
I couldn't. Yeah. And
wow.
But so when I when I just shared like the message that you all speak of with this group of people, like this one lady got really offended, and it was it was wild, Emerson. I was like, whoa, that's so interesting. Like there was like no intention to like not saying anything was bad, but that's how it was taken. And it was just like, wow, look at that. Apparently it's like once there's an openness to this, then that there's no going back to seeing it the other way. It's like I remember what the seeing was, but now it, like I said, nothing has changed, but everything has changed.
Yes.
So yeah.
it's like arriving at the point of no return, and then seeing that there's really no point.
Yeah. And I'm just so happy that you're doing this. It's just wonderful to be with all of you. So
thank you. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of what do you call that? Challenges around this communication when it's heard by a believer of a particular belief system, and it's really challenging and it's really confronting, right? It does the character doesn't want to hear it. It doesn't want to be exposed as illusory. Even
Yeah,
if
it
it
was,
even if it
yeah,
even if it believes it's illusory, the exposure, but it likes the illusion of holding on to the illusion that it is real.
isn't that wild? And I
Yeah,
just, there was like, no, it was just like, oh, everybody must know this or what, just like, oh, it's so obvious. And, and then I guess, maybe there's this assumption that, oh, this group of friends would be just understand, but no, it's like you said, they have the concept of the self as illusory, but there's like
it
that
is.
it
It
goes
is.
underground and holds on to it.
It does because it's a belief, it's a position, right? So when the position is challenged, when the position it's an investment. The position is an investment. It's an investment in what they've worked on. So for example, if someone has been practicing or not even practicing or believing a particular chain of not knowing, when it's challenged, even the wording when it's challenged, although they're just words, the the weight of the challenge is aggravating for a lot of people. There's really no one here, and there's no one writing, but I get a lot of hate mails.
Yeah, yeah, wow, it's wild. It's
It's
wow.
wild. It's and it's also seen that although there is a lot of there's also nothing behind it. So it's just a distortion again, right? Another static, another
Yeah,
vibration.
even that is it. Even that
Yeah,
is it.
even
Yeah,
that is it.
yeah.
So there's this, that's all actually stillness, morphing, shape shifting into different opinions or whatever. So everything is innocent in that sense. All the beliefs are innocent because there's really no one doing it. There's just this apparent whatever it is that's apparently happening, that's unknowable, that's appearing as these opposites, as appearing as opinions and everything. And the reason that there is this love for this communication is because it's very easygoing with that kind of stuff. It's not taking a position. So whatever seems to appear over there, the opinion there is that this is whatever it is that they can think of, that's what seems to be appearing in the illusion, in the distortion. And there's really no one doing it on the other side too. Even if there's a really strong persistence that that there is a right here and you are wrong, that crumbles as seen as just um, the sameness appearing as you're right and I'm wrong. And so when it's seen that's just what's appearing, seeing that it's just a distortion appearing in clarity or appearing in stillness, there's peacefulness with that. It's kind of like, okay, cool. Or even the
Yeah,
reaction, whatever reaction appears, if there's a defense or whatever offense, that's also seen as peacefulness. So there's always instant forgiveness in what's happening. Kind of like, okay, cool. But it's fascinating too, though, right? It's fascinating, just to hear that the anger that comes out, the frustration that comes
yeah,
out.
yeah. It
Yeah,
was it was just like, wow, look at that. Wow. Yeah.
it's just
Thanks.
this.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's beautiful, Emerson, and listening to you and some of these other messengers, it's like the hearing. It's just like the not all the questions, but a good number. It's the person grasping, and then the message it's just like a total block, and then they're like grasp some more, and then block, and grasp and block.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. Hello, Emerson. Can you talk more about resonance? Resonance. Um, Resonance is just another vibration. Resonance is this intuitiveness of emptiness. So it's emptiness vibrating with emptiness. It's the intuitiveness that nothing is happening, that is not being addressed to, that it's an impersonal communication, that it's hitting that spot that doesn't have a spot. The unconditional love, seeing the unconditionality of what seems to be happening. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you expand more on you are it and you don't exist? Ashley. Um, I, I think I heard, you are it first from Alan Watts. It's there's no you, there's no it. But let me expand on what seems to be. It seems to be that what's being expressed, that everything is it, everything is you, but there's no it and there's no you, so everything is just everything. Hey, Kathy.
Mute.
Hey, Kathy, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. It's
You
good.
look cool.
Oh, great.
Yes,
Just came
yes.
in from outside. It's beautiful outside, though. I didn't really
You
need
came
all
in
this.
for this?
No, I was walking listening to this. I
All
had to come in
right, okay.
to that's all I do
Yes.
when I walk. Of course, I'm not going to talk about whatever. But what I was thinking of is I said I listened to all this gobbledygook,
Yes, it is gobbledygook.
and it's just like trying to, and you've spoken about this many times,
Yeah, yeah.
recapture the glimpses
Yes.
to the plural.
Yes.
Even if one glimpse was extremely frightening.
Yes. Yeah,
And
it could be.
not even trying to recreate that, but I guess in a way there is like a little suspense around that. What was that? And it was so scary. And, I think about it and I think then, well, maybe you're trying to understand that because you really wouldn't want that to happen to you again.
Yeah.
But, and then I said, so that's probably for me the resonance.
Yeah.
Because if you ever went to somebody, like Tony walking through the park and you start talking like that, people might lock you up. I'm at the age where people are really set in their ways.
Yes, yeah.
They have strong beliefs. Like I think you've even said, like you don't share a lot with your parents.
Yeah.
And so I said, I can stop listening to the gobbledygook because if the glimpse is going to come, the glimpse is going to come. If it's not, it's here, there's no controlling anything anyway, is what I just wanted to say.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Emerson. Thanks for
thank you so much,
trying
Kathy.
to clarify something that can't be clarified.
It's when the wind drops, right? But you have no choice and then glimpses really are just stories.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, glimpses are stories, and I think Tony said this, that the worst thing that could happen to someone is a glimpse, because there is a seeking for glimpses. There is this
Absolutely
obsession, almost kind of like, let me go to
Absolutely.
let me go to this 4-day event with Emerson. Somehow with those 12 sessions, maybe I'll have a glimpse.
Or I'll be ready for the hospital, a mental ward.
So what's being exposed here, all of that, the one that thinks that, that when is the glimpse coming, when is all of that kind of stuff, is the seeming obstacle to what is already. Nothing needs to be glimpsed because everything is already presented. Nothing needs to be revisited because everything is already this. Nothing is lacking here. So thinking that a glimpse needs to happen is a lack of what seems to be happening already. It's already fully presented. And there's a buffet already here. And you're thinking about a particular dish that you liked 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like I'm craving
It's the big spoiler.
sushi. It's the big spoiler, and it's quite fascinating that there is this seeing. There's seeing. It's kind of like what you. I'll tell this in a story. This is just a story. It's kind of like you're dreaming. You're dreaming of something kind of like of heaviness or something, and then someone turns on the light, and then you wake up momentarily. Although there's no one. This is just a story. Then you see the light, and then you can't wait to see the light again. And then you go back to sleep, and then you keep on wanting to repeat that dream when you saw the light. But what's being expressed is there's no you that saw the light. So the light or the emptiness or the nothing or the deep sleep or the zero becomes a story that I saw it. You claimed it.
Mm,
You claimed emptiness. So there's a
yeah.
claiming of that. And the claiming of that makes it difficult.
But it's,
You bottled
but the other
freedom.
but the other thing is the beauty in it,
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
simplicity in it. You know,
Like
you're
this.
not there at all. You're
Yes,
not
well,
there at all.
yes,
And it's
yes.
so freaking beautiful.
It is,
You
yeah.
can't help but want to be there.
That's a really good title of a book,
So
Chasing
freaking
Glimpses.
beautiful. So beautiful. It's nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's the release of all of that pent up belief system, all of the workings of how, when, where, why, all that kind of stuff falls away. It's the falling away of all of the held on to past and the pent up emotions about the future. It just drops because there's really no one holding that. So it's the illusion holding to the illusion. So when the illusion is seen through, that there's no one doing it, then there's this shoulder dropping down, kind of like, oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like this
Yeah.
though. That's what's being presented here. That this is the same as a glimpse, but the distortion or the vibration or the blocking of it is happening illusory. It's a delusion. There's this delusion that it's not happening or that everything is happening. Whatever it is that comes up is
Mm-hmm.
the obstacle to what's already clear. So everything that you're doing there is also, so this is a glimpse, this is a glimpse, this is a glimpse, this is a glimpse, that's a glimpse. Everything that comes out is a glimpse. That's empty, that's empty, that's empty, that's empty, that's empty. So really there are really no glimpses. You're looking for a story of emptiness, and but looking for the story of emptiness is just emptiness taking form as a story of looking for emptiness.
And that's
for
good.
yeah,
That was good. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. It's just a story.
yeah,
Yeah. That was good. Yeah.
all right.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Keep on coming back, Kathy.
Oh,
Let's
I will.
exhaust those questions. Apparently. Hey, Anne.
Hi, Emerson.
How are you?
I'm good.
That was an interesting breakout room last night. I listened to some of it.
It was. It was.
The arguing about awareness and stuff. But go ahead with your question. Yeah.
Oh. Language, Emerson.
Yes,
Language.
language. Oh, yeah.
Words.
That's
Form,
right, yeah.
form.
Yes.
Form describing nothing.
Yeah.
Is it naturally? Does it the describing come naturally? There's a sense of having learned the way, the dialogue, the way to speak about it. There's this I don't know, what am I trying to say?
That's just another distortion in trying to create a story about something that doesn't really have a languaging. So whatever appears is what's just appearing. I talked about the destruction of deconstructing words and reality and that kind of stuff yesterday. about how words, although they're meaningless, right?
Yeah.
They're also powerful in the illusion, because the
They
I,
are.
yeah, the I and the me usually attaches to the word as a belief system. It
Yeah.
becomes a tool, right? For example, um, if we, one of the most famous words that's argued a lot about in this communication is what awareness is, right? So when the I is aware, when the I goes underground and it becomes awareness, there's still that underground attachment to what is, right? So
Mhm.
how can anyone be aware of who's aware? So it becomes almost like watching for awareness or abiding in awareness, that kind of stuff, right? So
Mhm.
although words are meaningless, they do have power in the dream as a belief system.
Yeah.
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 Including the communication here. For example, the communication, if it becomes kind of like dogmatic and it becomes a belief system, then it has the same power of deception or manipulation of any words. For example, if there is an announcement that there's no me, no me, no me, and it becomes an idea. As I said earlier, me and no me are the same side, or just opposite sides of the same coin. They're all illusory. Or even using the word, there's this clarity here. Even using words like meing or being seems deceptive because there's a preference for being. So again, it becomes another idea that I should be a being. So in this communication here, there's ripping apart of any of the words that seem really sticky, or a preference, right? It becomes another story that's that's wanted. I want to have a glimpse of the being. All of that becomes just this narrative again. So this is yanking all of those stories and seeing that the one that is thinking, the one that's perceiving or imagining all of this is the distortion, is the vibration, is the static, is the confusion.
So the languaging doesn't it doesn't matter. It's not.
The languaging
Um,
does matter in the illusion, right? The languaging does matter because I listened to some of the teachers before, and sometimes I get into a spiral of knowing. It becomes a circular teaching. Does that make any sense? So when this communication is not talking to anyone, it's really clear that it's not addressing anyone, um,
mhm.
and it's not addressing you to practice or to watch or to observe or to notice.
Mhm.
It's just really be expressing that there's no one to notice, to be aware, to be conscious, to witness, to arrive. Simply, there's no one. So it's not addressing anyone to do anything. So languaging, as I said, can be really be deceptive because it's although it's meaningless, in the dream, in the illusion, it can be a prompt of doing something. Although again, the contradiction here, right? I was talking about there's no one here, there's no doer here, but you need to abide in your awareness to get there, or you need to
Oh,
practice or something. See how languaging works?
mhm.
Yeah.
But then it's when it hits something that it has a meaning to to do something.
Sorry, repeat that
So
again, Anne.
there,
Sorry.
there there needs to be something here for it to land on, for there to do something.
Aha.
If there's
See,
nothing here to land on,
that's right. Then the why and the what and the how drops.
uh,
Aha.
and it it's all of this. Um, I think once upon a time I didn't know anything, nothing, and then you kind of like learn all this stuff, and like
So you're just creating another story to
yeah,
maintain the story that you've learned something. No one learned something here.
yeah.
It's just another block. It's just another obstacle, right? It keeps
So
on
where's
throwing
that come
obstacles
from?
nowhere.
So
Again, that's the illusion, that's the distortion that seemingly is coming from something, but it's not really happening at all. Nothing is happening. Like in a dream, does anything come from a dream? No. Does anything really happen in a nighttime dream? No. Does it have any source? No. Everything just appears, and the moment that it appears, all disappears as well. The moment that there is this seeing, that is just a dream. You still there, Anne?
I'm still here.
All
No,
right.
no language more fluid than language more solid. Um, um, I think the initial question was, does the languaging come naturally?
Oh, from this
So,
character. From this character.
so, or is it something that comes over time?
Um,
So it just seems to me that there's a similarity in the expression.
yeah, for a lack of words, you know what I'm saying, that are very,
Yeah.
precise. It's kind of like and this is just another story. There are only certain languaging that seems to um, illuminate that there's no one here. So it's used, for example, empty fullness or nothing is happening, nothing is everything. Apparently, in the story is used in a lot of communication. It's the clarity, right? So it sticks with that one, but because a lot of languaging, for example, and it's not even the languaging. For example, if I hear someone, because there was also confusion here when it started going into apparent non-duality scene. I thought everything was the same. I thought that everybody was talking about the same until I listened to some of the usage of this languaging, and it's addressing someone. See, that's the difference, right? It's addressing someone to witness, to
Mhm,
observe. Everything
mhm,
is awareness. They'll say all is awareness, but there's an abiding in pure awareness. There's a
mhm,
personalization of what's happening. Even if it's said that pure awareness is not personal,
mhm. But
but
there's
it's
something that wants
instructing. Yeah, yeah.
to
It's
see.
separate all of a sudden, right? It's not
Yeah.
personal, but you are personal. So there's
Mhm,
a contradictory that's happening with the languaging. So it's the usage of the languaging and the instruction of the languaging. So there's languaging here that appears, but there's no instruction to do anything. There's no instruction to observe, to get, or to witness anything.
So is there a natural falling away of the language that doesn't express?
Yes, it seems to be in the story. There seems to be a deepening. Again, this character was there's had this clarity apparently. This is just a story for almost 4 years, but it only started speaking about maybe 4 months ago because there was this. This is just a story. There was this more precise languaging. Yeah, but
Right. So
that's just
that
a story as
wasn't
well.
okay. Yeah. Yet that wasn't a learning. That was
No,
just
it's yeah. No one learns anything. Everything is just
because
happening automatically.
yeah.
There's the illusion that there's a time, that there's a deepening, that there's an apparent um, knowing or something, but that's the illusion. That's this distortion of what's appearing right now. It appears in stories.
The distortion.
Everything, everything appears in stories, but it's all stillness at the same time.
Okay.
It's all zero that appears as everything.
Yeah. So is there a sense of nothing, something, nothing, something, something,
Who's
nothing?
sensing it?
There's
There's no one.
Yeah.
What appears to be sensing something is the distortion, is the illusion, is the obstacle. It's the veil, right? It's the dancing veil that seems to morph as stillness and whatever appearing.
So it's playing.
What's that?
It's playing.
Yes, it's play. It's play.
Okay.
As I said earlier, this is the play of stillness, the play of separation. Stillness playing in separation. Zero playing in whatever. Thank you, Anne. Should I go to Kathy or do you have another question?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, come
Thank you.
back. Come back. Ask those awesome questions. Hey, Kathy.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, like, you know how Tony went walking through the park?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I heard Tim Kliss one time talking about something in the mountains. I don't know if he was on a school trip, but poor guy if he was. I never really got to ask him. What was yours like?
It's really funny because it's just a story. It doesn't really matter. But for the sake of telling the story, it was just really DJing for 4 hours, like walking in a park. DJing for 4 hours, and there was just this, like, there's no one doing this. And it's always been, this character has been DJing for quite a while, ever since he was a kid. Every time that it DJ'd, it was always that way. But it just, thinking that it was doing it. Although there is this big intuitiveness that there's no one doing it. And that's why there's this love for DJing and talking about this. This is the same as DJing right now. There's no one doing it. So time apparently disappears. I use this story. It's kind of like even when I'm DJing at in a club or something, or a wedding or something, right? The first 20 minutes, you're warming up. And all of a sudden, 30, 45 minutes into the set, the DJ, the dancers, the dance floor becomes whole. There's no one anymore. There's just this union of something that was never separated. And that's what's being spoken about here. That what is seen here, although there's no here, I'm just using languaging, is that there's no separation here. So all the questions that are asking are all answers already. Everything that I'm saying is already obvious. Because it doesn't really, although these words, are meaningless, it somehow in the dream cuts like a knife sometimes when it is not heard and made into a meaning. Does that make any sense? So
No, I didn't get that. I
Okay.
didn't get that. What cuts like a knife? What?
Sometimes it cuts like a knife, but
When?
for no one. It doesn't cut anyone. It's just it's just seen as, it's almost kind of like a this energetic sharing. You know what I'm saying? It's not for anyone. If there's an openness there, then it's seen that this is what is being spoken about. That there's no one here. Sometimes there's a disorientation. Sometimes there is, I usually get, and this is just a story, I usually get a lot of emails, people wanting to talk to me after, especially in a long format like this, right? Because there is a kind of like, I'm disoriented now, Emerson, or or I was driving and then and I don't know how I got home, or I was walking and then something blacked out or something. So there is this perceiver, and that's perceiving this apparent, or how come the colors are brighter, or there's another side of it. They're like, I'm feeling really sad that there's no one here. There's this feeling of loss, or whatever it is, right? So there are so what's being presented here is just this wholeness already, that's being seemingly, this is just a story, that there is a separate seeing of what wholeness is. Either it has become a definition for someone, it has become meaning, or they don't understand it, it's the same thing. Understanding and misunderstanding it are the same. Because
Right.
whatever is appearing is already whole, meaning that whatever is is ising already.
Yeah.
It's already this ising.
Yeah.
And as I said, this is all stillness morphing, dancing, playing as objects, as bodies, as voices, as air, as whatever.
Well, even stillness, though, to me feels like it has its opposite. I don't,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
See, that's what I mean with
I can't
words,
get
right?
stillness sometimes.
It's
You know, the words don't do it because
emptiness.
there's always an opposite.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's why it's explained that empty is fullness and nothing is everything, because they don't really the one that thinks that there's an opposite is the distortion.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, is
Yes.
the illusion,
Yeah.
is the
Who hears the opposite?
that's right, yeah.
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 So when that distortion finally clears up, kind of like, wait a second, there's no
Yeah.
one asking this question.
Yeah.
There's no one speaking here. Then that distortion is clarity. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
just different angles, right? Just different
Yeah.
angling.
Sure. Same
Yeah, yeah.
thing.
Same
Same
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It is, and that's evident in the glimpses sometimes because it's seen in a different light, or it's seen when there's no one here. It's a play, right? So when
Right.
it's kind of like, wait a second, there's no one hiding. It's already everything is already it's already in front of me.
The gig
There's
is
no
up.
me.
Yeah.
The gig is up, yeah.
The gig is up.
And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you make that story of what the gig is up,
Yeah.
and it becomes
What
like, oh,
happened?
I lost it.
Yeah. Yeah. Then the
Because the
story
one
begins.
it's kind of like
Hmm.
playing a hide and seek, and like you're it, and then but there's no it. So you're
Yeah.
looking around for it, and you're like, oh wow, it's just play. It's it
Yeah.
playing by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Cool.
yeah.
Thanks, Emerson. That was
Thank you.
cool.
Cool, cool.
Oof.
Woof.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of messages here. The beauty of this communication is that it doesn't address behaviors. Yes, nothing to worry about. Whatever happens will go its course. Yes. Thank you, Dead End. David goes, sometimes it's like an underlying impersonal deja vu of everything. Yeah, you can say that. Oyvind goes, knowing there's no one, absolutely completely no one, to such a degree, no one that it's not even, at least listening to this doesn't give me anything, so it doesn't leave me with wanting something either. Just listening, doing whatever, sitting or chores, yeah, whatever's happening is just happening. David goes, this underlying mystery of everything is freaking home. I like that one, actually. I like that one. It's always freaking home, so it's kind of like it's like looking for keys, to find your home, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's home. Or like the example of with your glasses, on top of your head, and you're looking around for your glasses, and you're like, oh, wait a second, it's there. Or I like this one too. It's like, buying the brightest flashlight, looking for light in daylight. And do you have another question? Please go ahead. Keep in coming. Apparently, there's no one asking. There's no one answering, so it's okay. Or maybe not.
Sorry, I forgot to take.
Oh, no worries, no worries, no worries.
What'd she say?
Hello, oh, do you have a question there, Kathy? I heard a voice. All right, so there's this question here. So what is this fluctuating illusion and stillness? I like that, actually. Seemingly there's really no fluctuation because there's no time, right? In the illusion, there's this fluctuation, or there's this distortion. I don't know if I have a paper here. It's kind of like a clear paper that's crumpled and clear and crumpled and clear. And the message in the crumpled paper says, home. When it's crumpled, you don't think it's home. When it's seen, it's home. But it's the same paper. It's always home, even when it's crumpled. Can you repeat that again? Yes. So for so for example, there's a piece of paper, and you're looking for what's written in a piece of paper, and it says home. Sometimes it's crumpled. Sometimes in frustration, you crumple it and then you're looking for what's inside, and when you open it, it says home. And then when it's crumpled, it's also home, but it's just crumpled. It's just not seen. But you can't choose to, do the paper. It's just happening on its own. It's just a distortion. It's just the same thing that appears to be contracted, but it's always openness. Open, close. Again, there's no opposites, right? So open and close are the same thing. Me and being are the same thing. Everything's an illusion. Everything is also wholeness. There's just this seeming contradiction of something that cannot be contradicted. And that even sounds contradictory. So everything that, is being said here is just an attempt to express what's appearing as everything. I can't possibly say everything. There's no one here saying anything. So let me go back to what I said. So in this play of separation, there's an appearance of us here doing this, the second day of this apparent 4-day event. But really, there's no 4-day event. You've never met me. You've never heard me. I've never seen you. You've never seen me. Nothing really happened. Nothing has ever happened. Nothing will happen. But in this distortion, there's something happening. There's you and I here. There's a talking happening. So I've never met you. You've never met me. But somehow it feels like we've known each other. But we don't really know each other. That's the distortion, and that's emptiness at the same time. Hi, Petra. I saw that. Thank you so much, everyone. That's the first session for today. And I'm going to open the breakout room now. Thank you so much. We'll come back in an hour. And thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Emerson.
Thank you,
Emerson.
Emerson. Such a great talk.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Emerson.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Ciao.
Later.
Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording. Oh, I forgot about the recording.